The Unhappy Hour on the new AmericanMedia.com.
Broadcasting to you live from the Milky Way galaxy, the solar system, planet Earth, North America, the United States of America. California, Los Angeles to be specific. Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of the Unhappy Hour here on the TNAM radio network at thenewamericanmedia.com. My name is Brian Engelman. I'm going to be your host as I have been for the past 5 years. Yes, we're about 2 weeks away from celebrating our 5th anniversary. What is that? 5th anniversary? What do you give people? Let's see, 5-year anniversary gift. What is that supposed to be? Let's take a look. First year, what's the first year? Gifts by year. Hallmark, okay, what do they say? First year paper, okay, cool. Paper. Second year cotton, okay. Leather for number 3. Hey now. Fruit and flowers for the 4th. And then wood. Alright, so if you want to send us some wood, would you be so kind as to send us some wood? It also says those are the traditional gifts. But if you go a little bit further, here, modern era, 1-year anniversary is a clock, 2nd year is China. I'm guessing that's not the country. 3rd year, crystal in glass. 4th year, appliances. 5th year, silverware. And then 6th year, wood. Okay. Traditional gift. 6th year, candy or iron. I'm guessing that's not an iron. I'm guessing that's something made of iron. Let's see. Wool and copper, pottery, bronze, willow and willow. Tin or aluminum, steel, silk, linen, lace, animals, crystal, china, silver. Okay. Oh, 50th gold, 60th diamond. Okay. Well, what else over here on the modern one? Desk sets, linens and lace, leather, diamond jewelry, fashion jewelry, pearls, textile furs, gold jewelry, watches, platinum, silver, diamond, jade, ruby, blah, 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 blah. Sapphire, gold, diamond. Okay. So since we're not actively asking for you to send us gifts, you can give us the gift of letting those advertisements play on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/thenewamericanmedia. That is one way to help us fund our operations, because along with our 5th year anniversary comes the expense of renewing our web hosting and all of that jazz. And, many hundreds of dollars go out the window and you sign up for all your stuff again. And thankfully, we're getting a little bit of love through YouTube. We're going to start adding and supplementing to what we have coming in. So definitely check that out. Subscribe, youtube.com/thenewamericanmedia. Check out 5 years of content, politics and sports and spirituality and just all of it. It's all there. We've covered every single thing ever. I'm just kidding. But yeah, check it out, thenewamericanmedia.com. All of the shows that are embedded on there, when you click play to watch the shows or the interviews, it's kind of embedded on YouTube. So go ahead and subscribe through there. On the right-hand side is the TNAM radio button where you click play to listen live. Underneath that is Twitter. There's our Twitter feed at American_media_. Underneath that is our Facebook feed. So we're here today. We're going to talk about, of course, we're going to talk about golf and badminton. And hey, any excuse to bring up the word shuttlecock. All right, moving along. Of course, we're going to be talking about the NBA playoffs. Cavaliers, a shot at redemption. Year 2 in the LeBron James era with the Cleveland Cavaliers. Okay, year 2 in the reboot of the LeBron James era with the Cleveland Cavaliers. Here it is. Cavs team's looking pretty healthy. You got Iman Shumpert and Mo Williams with a little, okay, whatever. But I like our chances. This year. Golden State Warriors set a record for best. I get it. They're very good. And the Spurs are not far behind. They're excellent as well. So let's bring in longtime friend of the show, Zak Baris. He knows a thing or two about the NBA. Let's break down what's going on. A few games already today. Well, that's the game plan, at least.
Hey, Brian, how you doing?
I'm living the dream, buddy. How are you?
Just watching this Warriors-Rockets game,
Yeah, I mean,
if you can call it one.
well, okay, fair enough. There have been games already. Things are happening. Things that, okay, maybe a day late, $1 short, fine. But, I mean, there have already been some results, and we're going to get to all of that. Yeah, if you call it a game. But, I don't know. Where do you want to start? You want to talk about the games that have already played? You want to start with, of course, our Cleveland Cavaliers or the Golden State Warriors? Let's start with the Golden State Warriors. You just mentioned them. They set a record. Talk about what it means to have the best record in the history of the NBA regular season all time.
I mean, it's an incredible feat to win 73 games. Just look at it. I mean, this is also a team that got beat by over 20 points by the worst Lakers team of all time. I mean, that's how crazy the year is. They won 73 games and also lost to the worst Lakers team of all time. By over 20 points.
Yeah.
On a Sunday afternoon game, which I don't think we'll ever see again. I mean, don't forget, when the Bulls went 72-10, they lost to the expansion Raptors twice that season. Twice.
How weird. I mean, I guess
Exactly.
It's, you catch yourself slipping, right? That's probably hubris.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably pride and ego and just letting yourself, you take a mental day off is probably what that is.
Every team, though, has their bad games. I mean, every team. We witness it all the time with teams. You go, how did this team lose tonight? They played a bad game. Steph Curry has his bad nights. In the 9 losses they have, he had his bad night. I think one of them he didn't play in against Dallas.
As Steph Curry goes, that's how the Warriors go. Dellavedova last year.
What they did.
Yeah, I mean, Dellavedova last year, he had some successes early in the series. Of course, that changed throughout, but
the thing with Golden State, though, is it's a hell of a lot of pressure because don't forget, a lot of teams are sitting their stars down the stretch. You could tell Golden State was physically worn out at the end of the season.
How could you tell that? Explain the signs that you saw.
They were having games that were a lot closer. They were playing guys longer minutes at the end of the season. When you had guys, when you had teams like the Cavs and you had other teams, San Antonio starting to sit their stars, Golden State was still playing all their stars to get to that 73 wins. I don't know if it's going to have an effect on them or not come the postseason. It doesn't look like it is today. But, we're not just talking about today. We're talking about 2 months from now. Don't forget, there's still basketball to be played all of May and June.
Yeah.
All of April, all of May, all of June.
I'm so excited, though, because
2 full months of basketball.
I get almost nothing out of the NBA regular season. It's hard for me to care. When you're a good team, you're making the playoffs. When you're a border team, borderline playoff team, it kind of doesn't matter. You're not going to win it. It's, welcome to the dance, and we'll escort you out early. The big boys have a game to play is kind of how it comes down. But yeah, I'm thrilled that the playoffs have finally started here. Of course we're going to talk about the Cavs, but I kind of want to start with this one. I've been hearing and seeing. You and I talked about it last week with the Toronto Raptors with some injuries, and I talked with John Telich. He was on a week or two ago from Fox 8 Cleveland, and he was saying the same thing about the injuries to the Raptors and that they
the
might.
Raptors have the same old story every year. They cannot get out of the first round of the playoffs. They've won one playoff series, I think, ever.
When did they expand? You
One
said
or
that
two.
was the expansion
They
Raptors.
do not win in the playoffs.
So they came into the
Vince
league
Carter
in
team
'90.
won one playoff series. I mean, this team every year finds a way to. I mean, you just got beat on their home floor to Indiana by 10.
By
points.
10, yeah. Well, people are saying that the Pacers, they've had their heyday. They've got a history. They've got a pedigree over there in Indiana, and the Pacers are a team.
The Pacers are a tough team.
Yeah.
There are no bad teams in the Eastern playoffs this year. I mean, don't forget, we're looking at teams right now. The 3 seed through the 6 seed all had identical 48-win records. Identical records, 3 through 6.
Wow.
3, 4, 5, 6 all had identical records in the Eastern Conference.
Is the Eastern Conference catching up then? Because you got the Spurs and the Warriors obviously
this is the first
crushing
time
it.
the Eastern Conference has had a better 8th seed than the better West seed in like 20 years.
Oh. Yeah, at some point the bad teams are going to draft the right players, and that's supposed to be the balance of the league.
It's the balance of the league is what has finally happened. It's not necessarily a shift in superstars, but it's a shift in where teams have been drafting. I mean, look at Detroit. The Andre Drummond pick panned out. Stanley Johnson's having a great year. A team like Detroit had a very quick turnaround. They also have a fantastic coach in Stan Van Gundy. Boston, Brad Stevens is arguably, a top 3 coach in the NBA. The guy's incredible what he's done with minimal talent. a bunch of mediocre talent to get that Celtics team to 48 wins. Add a guy like Kevin Durant this offseason. They've got a legitimate chance.
Yeah, there's some rumors about that. What do you think? What's your gut say? What do you think he's going to do? What do you think Durant's going to do?
I tend to think Durant re-ups for 1 year in OKC, and I'm going to say this why. I don't think there's anywhere out there that's really just sitting out there going, oh, there's a perfect team for Durant to join. Durant, if he goes to the Warriors, it just hurts his legacy. Because what's he going to do? Go to a team that just broke the record for 73 wins? What's he going to do? Because if they're any worse than they were this year, it's not going to look good for Kevin Durant.
Okay, but he wants a title just like LeBron did.
I think Durant's a perfect fit on the Warriors. You get a shooter like Durant that can open the floor and Golden State. My God, they'd probably win 90. They'd probably win more than 82 games.
More than 82 games.
Durant is a perfect fit. It's like if you put LeBron in the Warriors, they'd win a lot of games, but he's not a perfect fit on that team. You put Kevin Durant, a shooter like Durant on that team, my God. My God, it opens up the floor for Curry. I don't even want to think the team would just disgust me. I don't even want to think what that team would do.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
I just don't see it being a realistic option. I think Washington has their problems. Washington had a terrible year. Randy Whitman got fired. You look at the Knicks. The Knicks aren't very desirable. Look at the Nets. The Nets aren't desirable. The Bulls don't have the cap room, and the Bulls, frankly, aren't desirable. They can't unload Derrick Rose's contract. Firing Tom Thibodeau was a mess for them, and Fred Hoiberg turned out to be a mess. So you look at the big markets, the Lakers are a complete mess. Could see realistically happening, which I think would be a perfect fit for both teams, is a Blake Griffin, the sign and trade with Kevin Durant for Blake Griffin. I think would make a lot of sense on both ends, and then Oklahoma City could go and move Serge Ibaka for a small forward. I think that one makes a lot of sense on that end from Oklahoma City and the Clippers standpoint. The LA Clippers would be looking to trade Blake Griffin. I think that's a perfect fit for both teams. Obviously, Kevin Durant is a better player than Blake Griffin, but you take something instead of nothing.
Yeah, we saw what happened when the Cavs waited too long and they couldn't get any commitment. And it's tough though. It's tough. Exactly. You're moving all your chips in on the table. That's tough because if you got a chance to bring him back.
I think that is the most likely scenario that Kevin Durant winds up with the Clippers. I think that's the most likely, or that he re-ups in OKC for 1 year and then re-explores his options in a year. Although if I were the Cavs, I'd do a sign and trade for Kevin Love for Kevin Durant, which I would love that, but I don't think the Cavaliers can make that work because both teams are over the cap. But just saying, if they somehow could facilitate and make that work, I think it's another trade that would make a lot of sense for the Cavs.
So explain. Okay, so both teams are over the cap.
LeBron would move to the 4. You'd have Kevin Durant. The Cavaliers would be disgusting if you added a guy like Durant. But I'm not saying it's realistic.
Yeah.
But I'm saying just imagine that if you could play LeBron at the 4 full time and have LeBron at the 3. My God.
But explain what you mean there with two teams over the cap. They can't trade two max contracts. Like they're just swapping, $25 for $25, or however many millions they're making. They're not allowed to make deals. What do you mean? How does that work? What's the prohibition there?
So teams over the cap can't facilitate a sign and trade being a certain amount over the cap. So I don't know if Cleveland would be able to do something like that, but I'm saying it's an option that could be explored. It's definitely. I don't know if Kevin Durant would come to Cleveland either. I just don't know how realistic it is. Would Kevin Durant go to L.A.? Yes, Kevin Durant's always in L.A. in the offseason. He would go there.
Would he play for the Lakers to take over? I mean, they're in desperate need of a superstar.
The problem with the Lakers is the Lakers roster is so far away from competing. That's why, again, if Kevin Durant were going to the Lakers, he'd wait another year to go there. The Lakers roster is so far away from competing. They don't have any bench pieces for the future, despite what anybody says. Trying to think what else. They don't have any pieces other than D'Angelo Russell and Julius Randle, and you have Jordan Clarkson as a 6th man, 7th, 8th man. Those are their only future pieces. They have 3 future pieces. Don't go sitting there and telling Nick Young's a piece. Lou Williams is a very good 6th man, but that's it. Brandon Bass, a good 9th, 10th man off the bench. You don't have any pieces there to win. If he re-ups in 1 year and he stays with Oklahoma City for one. Hold on 1 second.
Yeah.
Just getting a message.
Oh, wait, this is Kevin Durant texting me. He says, I like Houston.
No, but I'm saying, Kevin Durant could re-up for 1 more year with Russell Westbrook, for 1 more year in OKC. Then Westbrook's deal is up, Then the two of them, they're very close, could wind up going to LA together and reworking that team, and they could go and trade D'Angelo Russell. Then it gives you the chance to move pieces. That's it. If Durant has a Lakers plan in mind, it would be re-upping in OKC for one more year.
Man, that would be
he will
filthy.
Not sign
that
with
would
the Lakers if he willing to bet on it this offseason.
That would be devastating for an OKC fan to watch both of your guys go over to a different team, for both to go to the Lakers.
But Russell Westbrook is an LA guy at heart. He's from LA and he went to UCLA. Take that for what it is, and he's in the fashion world. Westbrook is going to LA or New York. It's a guarantee at this point. It's just a matter of when.
Guarantee?
I think so.
All right. Yeah, well, the
based
fashion
on Russell Westbrook's his judging of his character outside of basketball, he is an LA and New York guy. He will be in one of those places.
Okay. Hey, let's go back to the Lakers real quick. Obviously, Kobe Bryant's last game. Break it down. Break down the Mamba in general real quick, and that last game.
The Lakers get the ball. They give the ball to Kobe, expecting to shoot. There's two guys wide open on the floor. Kobe still takes the shot. But you know what? I'll give it to him. He took 50 shots. It's the most ever in an NBA game, ever.
So Kobe. That's so Kobe.
And literally, he couldn't have ended his career on a more Kobe-esque fashion. Other than the fact that he would have went 8 for 50. I could have seen that happening too. But, the ending was pretty phenomenal. I mean, it was one of those things that's, you're probably never going to see that again.
Did you feel like
he took every single shot, and at the end, it was pretty. It just reminded me so much of some of his old performances, or that it brings memories. Just being a Cleveland fan, it brings memories that LeBron single-handedly took his team back and won the game.
Oh, that Pistons game was incredible. Yeah, I mean,
exactly. It takes you back to Game 5 of the Pistons series. It's exactly what it reminds me of when I think of it, or it reminds me of vintage Kobe. But speaking from a Cavs fan, the exact game it reminds me of, even though it was a meaningless game.
Yeah. Well, did you get the impression that
the other day they're like Jordan's last game as a Bull was against the Jazz, and Kobe's last game was against the Jazz. I go, well, you can't really put that in there. Jordan's last game was Game 6 of the NBA Finals against the Utah Jazz and a game-winning shot.
And a push-off.
Kobe's was a 16-win team going for their 17th win in a meaningless game at the end of the season.
Yeah. 2 non-playoff teams in mid-April. A little different.
Exactly.
Did you get the impression that the Jazz were playing defense? Did you get the impression they were just kind of letting them go for it?
No, they were playing defense. I don't know about the end of the game, but they were playing defense for the majority of that game.
Well, it's neither here nor there. But, yeah, anyway, moving back, you mentioned the Clippers a couple times here, and we're hearing a lot of stuff about, and we've talked about this before, but if Kyrie Irving, I don't want to say if the Cavs don't, because I'm in the positive mentality. 16 games, we got 16 wins we need to collect.
I'm telling you right now, if the Cavaliers want to win the NBA Finals, if LeBron keeps playing the way he has, and you get something out of J.R. Smith. J.R. Smith can replicate what he did in the Hawks series last year, and Kyrie Irving can just be close to Kyrie Irving, and Kevin Love can be close to Kevin Love. The Cavaliers, mark my words on this one, I'm not being a homer, will win the NBA Finals. But the big thing is, JR has notoriously struggled in certain aspects of the playoffs in his shooting, big time. Look at the finals last year. The Cavaliers lost 4 games to 2. They almost won game 1 of that series, barely. The shot rimmed in, rimmed out. Okay? They almost won another one of those games in that series, too. It could have easily been flipped up. If you'd have gotten a healthy Shumpert last year in the series, the Cavaliers played them very difficult. I'm telling you, you got a Cavaliers team when LeBron's in different, when LeBron's in FU mode, it's very hard to beat Cleveland. It is very hard to beat Cleveland when LeBron plays like that. Very difficult.
And he knows when to turn that on.
If you get something out of Kyrie Irving, and they can play team basketball, I'm telling you, it will go down. They will upset Golden State if they can get that. Not saying they're going to, but if they play like that, they will upset Golden State and beat them.
Yeah, of course, that depends on the quality of defense. And, of course, it's, we're all assuming it's going to go to that. If there's a strong possibility that the Spurs or somebody,
Again, the Spurs won over 65 games. The Spurs are no cakewalk.
Nope. So how worn out and beat up could the Golden State Warriors be by the time they make it, if they can make it? It's going to be a battle to get out of that.
Exactly, Brian. You make a good point. So, I think for both teams, it's going to be very, very tough. I mean, it's going to be a hard series. I think Golden State has a bit of an advantage against San Antonio. I just think Golden State's the better team, and I think that fast style of play is what slowed down San Antonio in the past. We witnessed it when the Cavaliers did it when they destroyed San Antonio on their home court, in Cleveland earlier this year.
Right.
And the Cavaliers killed them because they played a fast-paced game. They shot a lot of threes. They forced a lot of turnovers, and they moved the ball really easily on San Antonio.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you have to do. And if you can play like that, which is Golden State's style play, they're like San Antonio. When San Antonio can dictate the pace, you cannot beat them. It's like Cleveland. When Cleveland dictates the pace of the basketball, you cannot beat them either. They're unbeatable when they dictate their own pace.
And that comes down to execution. That comes down to coaching. That comes down to experience. Do you think J.R. Smith might have gained some of that experience that he needed? Talk about, J.R. Smith's previous playoff experience, and if you think last year with the Cavs is going to help him get through that.
I think the chemistry is a lot better than it was last year. I mean, they are a better team. There are times they didn't play like it this season, but trust me, they're a better team. When LeBron's locked in, he's locked in.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they know that this year. You didn't know what to expect out of the Cavs last year. You really didn't.
Well,
there was such an enigma in the playoffs.
But given the inconsistencies this year, some people are saying you don't know what to expect out of him this year. LeBron's talking about playing super teams with Carmelo, and rumors about trying to trade Kevin Love at the deadline. And
again, if you notice, none of that's been brought up now in the last couple. Since that incident with the super team, nothing's been brought up since, and he's been in full-on FU mode since then. Don't forget, we've witnessed a whole nother LeBron over the last couple of months.
Yeah, we have. He's
heating
up.
I doubt LeBron's leaving Cleveland again. Again, it's just I'm not. Again, the first time I was weary when he was leaving Cleveland. I kind of knew he was leaving. It was pretty obvious just the way he was handling things and the way they lost to Boston. If he wasn't leaving, I don't think we would have lost this series. I don't think he would have let the Cavs lose. I think he was just sick of it at this point. At that point, having to do too much.
Yeah.
He's not going to be able to form a super team wherever he goes right now. The only city he can actually form a super team in would be Cleveland, because they're the only ones who can facilitate all the trades to make that happen. You can trade Love for Carmelo tomorrow, and you can get Chris Paul here tomorrow for Kyrie Irving.
And then you'd
the
have
Cavaliers are the only one who can facilitate that super team. And that would mean Dwayne Wade coming to Cleveland, which I just don't see Dwayne Wade leaving Miami.
Yeah, I don't see it. But wait, I thought you said that you can't make trades if you're over the cap. Is it?
You can make trades, sign-in trades.
Okay.
I'm saying the Cavaliers could somehow make that one work. The Cavaliers are the only team they could make that work right now if they wanted to form that super team of those four guys. It's not going to happen.
Yeah,
I'm saying if the Cavaliers wanted to and get Melo, and you're instantly the oldest team in the NBA.
Yeah, I don't know if that's an ideal situation, but
I don't think it's ideal.
Well, hey, let's.
Philly, I guess, could make it work too. Because Philly has all those trading centers built up, but I can tell you right now, those guys are not going to Philly to play basketball.
Phillies fans, oh man, yeah, they're notorious, and they have not been good since Iverson, since Barkley. How far back do we have to go?
Philly, I believe it was a few years ago. They made it to the Eastern Conference Finals.
All right, fine, that's
Eastern
right.
Conference semifinals, and lost to Chicago. They beat Chicago the year Rose got injured in 2011. I believe they made it to the Eastern Conference Finals.
All right.
It was Iguodala.
I keep forgetting that. Yeah, Iguodala. I don't like his name right now.
That team really shouldn't have gone anywhere. They beat the Bulls because they got lucky because Derrick Rose got hurt, and the Bulls didn't know how to play without Rose at that point.
Mm-hmm.
I believe Noah was too. It was just, honestly, it was luck. Philadelphia was not a good. I think they won 44 games.
Well, let's shift gears and let's go through these matchups here, because we're talking about a lot of hypothetical things so far. Who could go where in the offseason, and what if this team meets this team in the finals? And those are hypothetical. Let's talk with the concrete facts. Let's start with the Cavs and Pistons. First, talk about the Cavs and their health. Talk about Mo Williams. Talk about Shumpert. Health in general.
I think they're going to be fine. I mean, they should have never brought back Mo Williams when they did. I didn't get why they did. They should have let him just sit until the playoffs. Now you've got a guy who's not completely healthy, and you got to make sure he is completely healthy. You're at some point during the playoffs should tell you you're probably going to need him at some point. Rest him as much as you can during the first couple series. Hopefully you don't need him, and hopefully you don't need him until the finals. if you're going to need them.
And then if you do, keep them as healthy as you can until then. So, all right, talk about the matchup with the Pistons. What are some keys to this series?
Detroit went 3-1 against Cleveland in the regular season. Means jack shit.
Boom.
Literally means nothing. Sorry to apologize for my language. I'll bleep that out, I guess. But it literally means nothing. The Cavaliers will go there, and I think they will destroy the Pistons in 4. I don't think it's going to be much of a series. A lot of the national media is predicting the Cavs in 5 or 6. I don't know why I didn't watch the playoffs last year. The Cavaliers are a different team come playoff time. We witnessed that last year. They went 12-2 in the East. And that was after a Derrick Rose bank shot.
Yeah. Oh, I hated that bank shot. Yeah.
You know, but the Cavaliers could get extremely lucky in this year's playoffs where Indiana might win the Raptors series. There's a possibility they could win that series.
Well, is that where we're going to go next? Let's go to the Raptors. 100-90. Pacers took them down today. So,
if Toronto loses game 2, that series is over. They lose game 2 and lose both games on their home floor, that series is over. That's how scared I'd be if I were a Raptor fan right now. I have no confidence in them going into the playoffs, let alone any confidence in them now. I mean, this is a team that every year seems to find a way to choke.
You know, I just wonder why. You know, the laws of averages. I just, you know, snake-bitten franchises like the Cleveland Browns or like the Raptors, how they can't get far into the playoffs. And how important is culture? How do you even quantify that?
I don't even know. I just don't get it. It doesn't make any sense how a team can be this bad come playoff time every single year. You're a different team. You play them in the regular season. You're tough as can be. They're tough as you don't want to face during the regular season because they're going to be like, oh, man, we're going to kick your asses during the regular season. And then you get them in the playoffs, and they suddenly forget how to play basketball.
I can't really make sense of it either. But
there is nothing to make sense of on that one. There really isn't. I don't get it. I just don't. I never will. There are certain teams in the playoffs that do this every single year, and you just don't get why.
Yeah. Well, Paul George is back.
Last year, you knew their choke job was coming last year. You knew it.
It's so
it's
weird.
It's just so LA Clippers.
Yeah. It's the strangest damn thing to me, though. Like the more I think about that, the stranger it seems that culture and tradition and history, you know, the muscle memory of choking, how that continues even if you change out all the players, if you change the coaches, how these things just continue. Just the law of statistical averages would say these things would balance out given enough time. You know, flip the coin enough times, it should be 50-50. Well, anyway.
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
well, it's a healthy Paul George. Do you think the Pacers are hungrier? I mean, the Raptors.
I don't know. I mean, here's the thing, though. The Pacers have a kill guy with Paul George. Paul George is one of the best players in the NBA. He's still not 100%. I mean, he had a great season, but he's still not completely his old self yet. Still gaining that form back. Paul George is a kill guy. Paul George can beat you single-handedly. He's one of those guys in the NBA. He's a superstar. There are very few guys in the NBA who can beat you single-handedly. Kyle Lowry and DeMar DeRozan are great players, but neither one of them is a killer. Paul George is a killer. He has that killer instinct. LeBron has that killer instinct. At times, Kyrie Irving has it. There's times Kevin Love has it. There's even times J.R. Smith has it.
Has Kevin Love shown that killer instinct once this year?
There have been times, go watch some games. Kevin Love has had some great games, especially when Kyrie Irving's out of the lineup. He's fantastic.
So it's going to come down to rotations. I think Kevin Love's going to be the key. Sorry, I'm bouncing right back to the Cavs, but of course it's the unhappy hour. What do you expect? But I feel like Kevin Love is going to be the key to this. I think they have to make sure that they're getting his confidence up early.
Offense, you will win. You just need to get him involved and get him involved early because Cavaliers, when they get up to these hot first quarter starts and can build a 15, 20-point lead early in the second quarter, late first quarter, it sets the tone for the game.
It does.
And the key is when you get Love involved early, the Cavaliers tend to dominate and they clobber these teams.
But toward the end of the season, well, I was just going to say, toward the end of the season, the Cavs were, and I know regular season's different, but they were giving up 20-point leads late in the third quarter, fourth quarter.
Because they didn't care. I just don't think the max effort was there. I'm telling you. They turned it on a different mode last year for the playoffs. Let's go back and watch the Boston series. They put it into kill mode. Chicago game 1, you can tell they were in chill mode. They let it go. Chicago kicked the crap out of them in game 1. I was at that game. It was brutal. Game 2, the Cavaliers set the tone early. The Cavaliers were up like 20-4 at one point in that game. You knew the game was over from the tip-off. In that game, in game 2, that game was over by tip-off.
By tip-off.
The Cavaliers knocked them out of their socks. They were up like 10-0. Chicago couldn't respond. The Cavaliers put them in the play. Chicago came back game 3 on a bank shot and won it. Game 4, you had LeBron's game winner, which I thought was the end of the series, to tell you the truth.
Yeah.
I was boarding a plane at that point for Chicago. I was in the airport and walking through that airport was the most awesome place ever, walking O'Hare in a bunch of Cavs gear.
At that time of year, exactly.
I was headed to San Diego and Vegas. So, so game 4, I got to watch the end. Thank God our flight was delayed. I would have been so pissed if I would have missed that. And then for game 5, I hauled ass to Vegas, gave away our tickets to the game, and went and watched the game in Vegas. The Cavaliers dominated in game 5, and then game 6 they won, pretty easily. And then, and look what they did to Atlanta. I mean, this is without Kevin Love and without Kyrie Irving. And you destroyed Atlanta, who had your number during the regular season other than one game.
And Atlanta they had a really strong first half of the season. Cooled off in the second half, but had a great season overall.
Atlanta's a very streaky team. They had a good year this year, too. They just weren't great.
Yeah.
They were very good, though.
Yeah, consistent, pretty good, pretty darn good. All right, well, let's talk about the Heat and the Hornets. I was reading an article recently about one of these sports writers. It was shared in the Unhappy Hour. I think Greg Moore put it up there, but this guy was predicting that the Hornets were going to make it to the finals or to the Eastern Conference Finals, what have you. But
I want to know whatever that guy is smoking or drinking. I want some of it.
Those were the comments made on the post. It was pretty funny. But talk about the Heat and the Hornets here. A lot of people are sleeping on the Heat and just kind of saying, well, LeBron's gone and they put a few pieces in, but whatever. What do you make of this series? You think it's going to be a tough one for the Heat, or?
I think it's going to be. I think the series is going to 6 or 7 games. I think Miami's a better basketball team, but I think Charlotte's definitely going to give them a run for the money. If Charlotte wins the series, it won't surprise me. I think Miami is a better basketball team. I think they're better coached, and I think they have more experiences, which is why I think Miami will win the series. But, Charlotte's no cakewalk. They're a decent team, and they shoot the ball well. You get Nicholas Batum has been the reason. I mean, don't forget, they lost Michael Kidd-Gilchrist basically for the season. Right before the season started, and you're going, oh, well, Charlotte's done.
Yeah.
They're going to be back at the bottom of the East. Well, Batum had a rebound year, and wow, was he phenomenal.
Hassan Whiteside, he's been okay. He's been doing some decent stuff. What is the latest on Bosh, by the way? What is the latest with his health and everything?
I think he's been okay. I don't know though exactly. The question is, this has happened 2 years in a row. Is he ever going to be able to play basketball again? Yes, he will. He'll come back, but I mean, not at a reliable level. I mean, he's got a virtually untradeable contract at this point. It's untradeable. He's got an untradeable contract. Because of his situation. I mean, it's scary. I mean, throw out basketball. This is scary anyway. Having blood clots in your lungs is not normal.
Yeah, that's tough.
And Chris Bosh is seriously, I mean, he is one of the smarter NBA players, to tell you the truth. He is one of the smartest players in the NBA.
Well, he was the one. He launched that social. Well, I remember he launched that social media campaign to get on the All-Star team. I remember he was like wearing cowboy hats and clown. But it's smart. He's savvy.
Bosh is the one, though. Bosh in the offseason writes his own screenplays. Bosh is also the only person in the NBA, one of the few players in the NBA that shows up to a meeting and actually takes notes. With an agent when he's there. You can tell he's a very, Chris Bosh went to Georgia Tech, which is a great school. He is a smart guy. He's actually one of the smartest players in the NBA. Chris Bosh has been able to make a great career for himself. He's also a great player. He really just got set aside when he was, when he was playing behind Bron and Wade. Really did.
Kind of like Kevin Love is,
Bosh is one of the most underrated players in the NBA. Look what he did with Toronto, though. The guy was averaging like 25 and 12 a game. Yeah.
He had a lot more on his shoulders at the time. I have no love for the Miami Heat. Zero, less than zero. All right, maybe I hold some grudges, Okay, maybe some of the hate has dissipated, but I have no love for them. But I certainly wish him the best.
People are booing Wade and they're booing Bosch at games, if they're not booing LeBron. I mean, come on.
Yeah. Oh.
But I'm saying, seriously, think about it. LeBron was the one who facilitated that and put that team together in Miami. It was LeBron.
Of course, he was the puppet master there.
I'm not going to hate on Dwayne. But you know what they did? They did. It was a great run while it happened. They went to 4 straight finals. They won 2 out of the 4. And it was a great run. People can say whatever they want, but it was a dynasty. It was a dynasty.
Yeah, it's a historic moment in NBA history.
To be a dynasty, but you know what? When you make 4 straight finals, it's a dynasty, and you win 2 of them. It's a dynasty.
No, I agree. I agree completely. And it's going to be, as the NBA continues to age, unfortunately, man, you look at the NFL, the trajectory of where things are headed with all the CTE damage and all of these, lawsuits, and the future of the NFL is definitely not as bright as the future of the NBA, because it's a game that people aren't dying and suffering 20 years. It's totally different. But when you look back at the history,
these guys in the NBA having brain problems, because having a concussion in the NBA is very rare.
Right. Fortunately, right. Occasionally you see somebody hold on to the rim long enough so they don't fall down. Yes, things happen, but nothing like the NFL.
There are injuries in any sport, but the NBA and Major League Baseball are far less dangerous than playing the NFL and getting your head rocked. Again, there's nothing a helmet only protects your skull. There's nothing that actually protects your brain.
And that's what CTE is.
It's from wearing a helmet.
And that's what CTE is. You're bruising your brain as it bounces off of your skull when you're smacked around. I mean, that's a brutal thing. But my point that I was starting to make there, and I went totally off track with that, I was just going to say, as the NBA is studied, decades down the road, and people look back on the history of the game, that moment, that 4-year run, that 4-year dynasty, as you called it, I mean, that was a historic moment for the league. Maybe it marks a turning point. Maybe it marks it was a massive coup to do what they did, how they did it, and to go to 4 straight finals and take 2 of them. I mean, it was a historic moment. There's never going to be a time where people will not talk about those times. It was just something like we've never really seen before. It was just different. So anyway, no love for the Heat, but I definitely don't hate on Chris Bosh. I wish him the best, and I hope that works out for him. Let's bounce over to the Hawks and Celtics. Very similar records. You got the 4 seed, 5 seed.
The Hawks are clearly the more talented team, but Boston they're so well coached. And Isaiah Thomas what a trade by the Celtics last year at the deadline to get Isaiah Thomas. I mean, what a trade. I mean, he's basically a throw-in chip at that point.
Did you think it was going to be significant?
Boston's another team where if I'm Boston going the next year, I'm looking at it going, I've got so many tradable contracts. We've got almost a guaranteed top 3 pick in this draft that I can move for anything, and we've got the free agent room, and we've got the cap room to sign Kevin Durant. I think that's an ideal situation. If Kevin Durant's willing to go to Boston, and Boston can move Brooklyn's pick once it comes out, if it's a top 3 pick, for another star, Boston is sitting pretty at the top of the East. Seriously. You add Durant and another piece to that, my God, they could. I mean, let's say you had Durant and Al Horford for that Boston team next year to go along with Isaiah Thomas. My God, they could be very, very good.
Recap that draft pick for everybody, though.
So Boston, a couple of years ago, Brooklyn traded an unprotected pick that Boston has control
of. Don't. That was a mistake.
Another, which was the KG trade.
Okay.
This is the KG and Paul Pierce trade. They gave up an unprotected first-round pick in this year's draft.
Because they were thinking that's not going to be a high pick. They were thinking, we're going to be great for a few years. No.
Well, Prokorov's an idiot, so...
Yeah.
I mean that's a whole other story for a whole other day. We've been discussing this for years. That team was not going, with an aging Kevin Durant and aging Paul Pierce, was not going to beat the Miami Heat. It just wasn't going to happen. But let's take a look at it and say for a second, don't forget, Brooklyn gave up Damian Lillard for a couple weeks of Gerald Wallace.
God, to look in the rearview mirror.
Damian Lillard for Gerald Wallace.
To look in the rearview mirror of that franchise. Jeez.
What?
just to look in the rearview mirror of the moves that franchise has made over the past, 5 years or so, what a mess.
The thing is, in the NBA, you need to be patient. Winning does not happen overnight. It takes years of either sucking or building draft picks to get that good and building assets. The problem is you do not acquire that many pieces overnight. I mean, look at this. The Cavaliers sucked for 4 years before they got LeBron back, acquired so many assets to the point where they could trade anyone and move tons of future picks for a bunch of veterans. Look what Miami did. Miami sucked for a couple of years, finally got in position to make the playoffs, had tons of cap room coming open, signed LeBron and Bosh. But Miami still took more than 1 year to build it, and same with Cleveland. You didn't have all the complementary pieces of year one, which is why they lost the NBA Finals in both years. You didn't have the depth to win.
How much different is the depth? What kind of pieces do the Cavs have in the bench depth this year?
Dellavedova is hands down a better player than he was last season.
Most improved player in the league? Who would that go to?
Most improved player in the league. Well, let's see. Isaiah Thomas.
Okay.
I think he's your clear-cut winner right there. I mean, look what he's done for his team in Boston. There's Nicholas Batum in Charlotte, who we discussed earlier.
Right.
There are a few guys on that list I could think of. Who else?
Most
improved.
improved.
TJ McCollum in Portland. Another Northeast Ohio guy.
Love those roots. But maybe would Dellavedova? He'd be the top 5. He'd be on the nomination process.
He'd be close. He's close. He's had a great season.
Yeah.
But you've got an extended depth from him. I mean, just with the Cavaliers, dime team from last season, but adding Channing Frye was a big piece. I don't know how much Channing Frye matters against some teams, but against Golden State, when you can spread the ball, when Golden State puts, when Golden State's suddenly putting in Draymond at the 5 and Channing Frye, Channing Frye's not playing center at that point. You're literally playing LeBron at the center. You're playing LeBron at the 5 to go against Draymond, but you can match him with a small ball lineup by having a 7-footer in there shooting threes. It's a matchup nightmare for Golden State. It just gives the Cavaliers another weapon to think how bad Anderson Varejao has been with Golden State and how much better Channing Frye's been with Cleveland. That was your huge addition right there.
Addition by subtraction? No, it would.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I hope it makes a difference.
I mean, I don't get why any fan would be pissed that Varejao went to the Warriors. I really don't. It's not him being a traitor. Talk about loyalty on the Cavs end for that one right there with Anderson Varejao. The Cavaliers suddenly just gave him up. Where is the loyalty from the Cavs end in that part of the deal? That's why you can't be upset at Andy for what he did going to Golden State. He wants a ring, and now if the Cavaliers face the Warriors in the finals, he gets his ring either way.
Oh, yeah,
He played more than half the season with Cleveland, he gets a ring. If he wins one with Golden State, he wins the title with Golden State. He wins a ring either way. If Golden State faces the Cavaliers in the finals, he gets a ring.
That's a pretty sweet deal, I would say. It's a pretty sweet deal.
Yep. It's like when Garcia Parra was traded in 2004, I believe it was, from the Red Sox. He still got a ring.
No
The
ma.
Dodgers.
No ma.
He still got a ring. Nomar still got a ring.
Yeah, that's true.
Even though he was traded mid-season in 2004 for Orlando Cabrera.
No, I think the depth issue for the Cavs, yes. Channing Frye, I mean, you're getting that, and I've seen it. As he's found his role with the Cavs, I mean, he can knock down those deep shots. He is a floor spacer. He's definitely going to change how they play. But I talking about Dellavedova and thinking about it, even with Kevin Love and Kyrie Irving, their first playoff experience, I think all of this stuff is going to immensely help us this year. Maybe it'll help JR, stay consistent and hot. I mean, he set a franchise record out of all the sharpshooters, the Mark Prices, and go down the list for the Cavs have had over the years. J.R. Smith just set the franchise record for most three-pointers made. I mean, that was a very quiet record for the Cavs. That's a pretty significant thing.
I mean, the Cavaliers have had their fair share of three-point shooters over the years. There's no doubt about that between Terrell Brandon and Mark Price.
Craig Elo. Oh, yeah. I mean, absolutely. It was just a very quiet record. I was kind of surprised. It just crept up on me and went, oh, wow. Well, good for JR. Let's see if we can continue this in the playoffs. So, experience and Channing Frye, let's see how it goes. All right, we've been talking Warriors a whole bunch. Playing the Rockets right now. How's that looking?
It looks like the series is over to me. 54-30. scored 2.5 minutes left in the first half. I mean, it's over.
Series done. Man, the Rockets. I don't know.
Durant's another one of those guys I could see in Houston, but I just don't see it making sense at this point. They're such a mess. But you know what? Daryl Morey's pulled more things out of his ass than any other GM in the league, so who knows?
Yeah, the Dwight Howard effect. That's. I mean, you got to say that's probably a real thing at this point, right?
I think realistically, Dwight Howard winds up back in Orlando next year, to tell you the truth, or Atlanta.
Orlando? Back home?
Look at it. I'm telling you, it's going to get more realistic this offseason. Just wait.
Huh. Interesting. Well, he hasn't been the same since he left. You never know.
I'll tell you this: he's not worth the max contract. I'll be clear on that. He's not worth the max contract. I wouldn't want to sign a 31-year-old center for 4 more years.
Somebody's
He's already fading off.
Someone will, though.
I don't know if somebody will. I really don't. I don't think he's worth 4 years. When I signed him with 2.
But don't they? But aren't they throwing tons of money at mediocre players in this league?
Yes, but Dwight Howard, I don't think is at that point where he's going to be getting any team to a title anytime soon. I think that's his problem. I just don't think Dwight's that good anymore. There's a difference when you're giving a guy max money now. I mean, again, it's like Chandler Parsons is going to get close to a max deal. Is Chandler Parsons worth anything close? No, he's not even an all-star. But there are some stupid teams assigned. Chandler Parsons is also not 31 years old.
Okay, the age component. Yeah, all right. Well, hey, we'll see. We'll see where he ends up.
There are always stupid teams out there that make stupid signings every year. We see it every year.
Yeah. Well, it's like in baseball too, where like that average pitcher just switches teams, and you're so starved for some stability at your number 3 or number 4 spot in the rotation. I mean, massively overpaid for pedestrian pitchers. It happens in every sport, really. It really does.
Yeah.
Okay, Spurs and Grizzlies. What are we?
Spurs. I mean, the Grizzlies don't have, without Gasol, they're wrecked. The fact they've been tapering along this long doesn't mean anything. I think San Antonio wins at 1-4.
In 4. All right. Well, then, unless they make it interesting, let's move right along. Mavericks and Thunder. Anything interesting going on there?
Thunder are going to win that one. I say Thunder in 4, maybe 5. The Thunder will blow a game in the fourth quarter, one of those games. Thunder in 5.
Mavericks kind of dead in the water, though. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not that Dallas is going to win that one. You're saying that that the Thunder are going to blow one. There's a big difference there.
A series that I'm excited for are Clippers Blazers.
All right. Well, once again, that's the 4-5, ideally or theoretically at least, the two most evenly matched teams.
Such a crappy start, losing 4/5 of their starting lineup this offseason. I'm not talking losing mediocre players. You lost LaMarcus Aldridge, All NBA, okay? Mm-hmm. You lost Robin Lopez, a very serviceable center. You lost Nicholas Batum, and you lost Wes Matthews, who signed basically a max deal in Dallas. Okay? You lost 4/5 of your starting lineup, and you're the 5 seed in the West. Congratulations. Damian Lillard and C.J. McCollum, unbelievable. Arguably not the best backcourt because you've got Thompson and Curry, so nobody else compares in terms of backcourt to the Warriors. But it's a top 3 backcourt in the NBA.
That's a pretty quick reload. That's not a rebuild. That's a reload.
Sure. I mean, they stunk at the beginning of the year. Nobody's expecting Portland to do anything. Look how well they've turned out. I mean, they're incredible. They are fun to watch. That is going to be a very fun series. But I'm going to take the Clippers in 6.
Okay, Clippers in 6. All right. Well,
Portland's a team loaded with cap room for next season too. I don't see Durant going up there, but you never know. I think that would be a great fit for him. But I just can't see Portland sending a marquee free agent like Durant.
Just because it's not a marquee city?
Portland's so isolated is the problem. Being on the West Coast, you get very little media attention to begin with.
I mean, Durant's dealt with that his entire career. People said that about LeBron, though, and it's like you don't understand. It's not all about LA and New York.
Of a city, though. Cleveland is a city that it's a big Midwestern. Cleveland is not small. The Cleveland area is still hovering around 4 million people. It's not small. The Oklahoma City area is 1 million. The Portland area is around 1.5 million.
Fair. And that's been the critique on the West Coast, whether it's the baseball teams or really any sport. Mostly baseball teams, because I think they with the NFL they kind of figure it out and they don't let games linger till 1 in the morning.
The NFL doesn't matter what market you're in. The NFL survived the last 20 years and has been bigger than ever without Los Angeles having a football team.
Go figure.
Take that one in stride.
That is weird. Hey, let's talk about that, because all right, let's just bounce off of that and go to the NFL while we start wrapping things up here. What do you make of what just happened with the LA Rams trading up to get the number 1 pick? It was beautiful for a moment there, being a Cleveland Browns fan, saying, okay, I don't know if Carson Wentz or Jared Goff, I don't know if they're going to be the answer.
I'll tell you this. Now we can't sit back and look in 15 years when we picked the wrong quarterback.
But you know what? I think Greg Moore on the Unhappy Hour. Oh, by the way, if you haven't followed Zak, he's on Twitter at Zak Baris, and if you haven't linked up with our Facebook group, it's called the Unhappy Hour. It's a private group. I have to confirm that you're a Cleveland sports fan to let you in. Otherwise, the Steelers fans will flood the gates and just be trolls. So anyway, sign up with that group. But yeah, Greg was saying that he thought, and it's something I thought too, that it's starting to really concern me that it might be one of those Peyton Manning, Ryan Leaf moments where one is going to do it and the other one is going to be a bum. I just had that gut instinct going, oh man, now here we go. Are we going to overreach for quarterback, or are we going to end up with the right one? And who knows if we even go quarterback? I don't know. I mean, what's your gut telling you?
I think they will. I think they should. I mean, I really don't know what they're going to do. I mean, I have no clue what they're going to do.
And it comes down to how high they have them graded. You know, the new regime, the new Hugh Jackson situation. You know, his whole crew. He's a quarterback guy. He knows quarterbacks. So I don't know. It just kind of sucked because Mariota was there with the Titans, obviously. So they weren't gonna go ahead and take a quarterback. We knew that. The only way we weren't going to have our first choice of quarterback is if what just happened, and it did. So I don't see it as a good thing at all. I was pretty disappointed to see it, but however, I guess I might as well announce to everybody. I think. So I guess it's not an announcement. I'm still thinking about it, but I think I'm going to become a Los Angeles Rams fan. That doesn't mean it's going to supersede. What's that? They'll suck too.
They'll suck too.
Perfect. I need more of that in my life. But you know what? I've been in Los Angeles for 11 years. This is a team coming back home that's from here, but they're not from here. They're in the 30s. They're from Cleveland. You know what? If I'm not allowed to pick that brand new team that's for the first time that I've been living here for 11 years is back, then forget it. I'm allowed to pick a team and start watching them and maybe care about them. I don't know. I don't know if it's going to happen, but not to supersede my fandom for the Cleveland Browns in any way. But I just wanted to say that. I think it's appropriate that I try it. So I don't know. What else we got? Buckeyes, yeah, whatever. They're doing their thing, and 48 of them are going to get drafted in the first couple rounds. We all know that. What about the Tribe? You following any baseball so far? You been to a game yet?
Yeah, I am. I've been watching. I was at the first 2 home games of the year.
Oh, that's cool.
So,
wait. Hold on. Weren't those rained out or snowed out or?
So I was getting ready to go to the first game of the year, opening day. Wound up taking off of work in the afternoon. They wound up not playing. Second time, I went the next day. And then I went the following night after that when it didn't get rained out, whatever that was. So I was at the first 2 home games. I didn't have a chance to go last night. I was just so tired. And then today, just was moving our office, and today built a new facility. So I was just spearheading that, and I'm excited for today. I'm just exhausted, and then I got the Cavs game tomorrow.
So what are you seeing out of the Indians so far? Obviously first week or 2 of the season, but what's catching your eye? What are you looking forward to? What players are you watching, keeping close tabs on?
Michael Brantley coming back would be ideal.
Yeah, yes, it would. I agree with that. Lost another one. Still, I really want, sitting at 4 and 5. I want us to have a strong April and May. It's so tough when we handcuff ourselves with slow, cold starts and slow, cold weather. And by the time we start fighting back after the All-Star break, it just gets tricky. But I don't know. The other thing I don't know, Zach, and you got some experience with construction and building products and materials and what have you. I'm just wondering how tricky would it be to get something that you could put as a very cheap, very cost-effective way to put a tarp or something where, who knows, if you start getting snow, it's wired and it heats it up and it drains it instantly off so it doesn't get too heavy and collapse or something. Why can't they put something over some of these stadiums? Or am I just pie in the sky
it's not
ridiculous?
that easy to build a dome. A lot of these stadiums, if you look at Progressive Field, it was not meant for a dome. You cannot put a dome over that stadium. There are way too many openings.
Yeah, I know. I guess I'm one of those guys. It's 2016. Come on. If we got SpaceX launching straight up and
baseball survived over 120 years without domes until now. You don't need a dome. It's really the first week of the season. It's 70 degrees outside right now at the game, and there's not a cloud in the sky. It's not often that there's rainouts. There's a few a year. It's not like there's 20 games rained out. I don't think it's that big of a deal. It happens in April. Just don't give the Indians home games in April. Don't give them early home games the first, April 4th. Make their home opener April 11th, April 12th, not April 4th. The league should know better. Don't put the Dodgers on the road on opening day. Facing San Diego. It does not rain in L.A. in April. It stops raining at the end of March in L.A. if it even does rain in L.A.
Yeah.
I've been at a point when I lived in L.A. where it didn't rain literally from April until October. I didn't see a drop of rain in 6 months. Not a drop.
Yeah. It seems like an ideal place to... And I talked with John Telich briefly about that as well, that... and that actually, because it got right, I think I had John Telich on the show. I think it was the opening day because we were trying to book it for that week, and it was like, well, I'm obviously wrapped up what was that, Monday? The opening, I'm trying to remember, whatever day it was.
It was on a Monday, but it got rained out.
Yeah.
Not rained out, snowed out, winded out. I don't know whatever you want to call it. It was doable, but
it was raining frogs from the sky. But yeah, I talked with John briefly about that, and he was just reminding me. He's like, yeah, this is something that's talked about all the time. It's something that it comes down to scheduling. But hey, final point here, and we'll let you get going. Thanks for your time again. But isn't a Justin Bieber concert? What's going on with the Cleveland Cavaliers with a Bieber concert?
If there is a Game 5 at home, if there's a Game 5 in the series, then the Bieber concert will have to be moved.
No. Who schedules this stuff? It's tricky. But
Brian, I guess you're not a believer, so.
I know. I'm seeing a sweep as well, so I don't think we have much to worry about. But I just think it's interesting because I've booked large concerts before. I used to work in that industry, and the number one thing you do, it takes months to plan this stuff. I just don't know how you double book a concert on something that could potentially be an NBA playoff game. I don't know how that even happens. I know being confident in your team sweeping.
Scheduling fault. It's not the Bieber concert's been booked months in advance, like a year. The NBA could have scheduled around it, but they didn't. The Cavaliers could have started the playoffs today, and then they would have played Saturday instead of Sunday. but they didn't. So.
So okay, cool. So we get to blame the NBA on that one. I like it. Who's in charge? That's
so
Adam.
I'm sorry. Game 4 is on a Sunday. Game 4 is next Sunday. Game 5, I don't know if it's Tuesday or Wednesday. But
okay,
still,
Sunday the 17th. Okay, so tomorrow, the Cavs game at 3 p.m. I guess that's Eastern. Wednesday, Game 2. Friday, Game 3. Sunday, Game 4. Tuesday, Game 5, if necessary. So that's what we're looking at. Anyway, I'm fascinated by those scheduling quirks and those mistakes and those screw-ups. I just find it completely fascinating. Anyway, Zach, as usual, thank you very much for taking some time and talking some sports with us. And, NBA draft is coming up.
Being on all the time.
Yeah, and, this is the time of year you and I look for, it just kind of, you get through those doldrums of the NBA regular season. It's like, what more do you talk about? All right, this latest social media controversy, or could someone be traded at the trade deadline? And that's all fascinating stuff, but this is finally when it counts, and this is the best time to have you on. So, I'm guessing we're going to be doing a few more of these shows as we hopefully march towards 16 wins for the Cleveland Cavaliers. So, anyway.
Let's hope so.
Yeah, exactly. So enjoy the rest of your weekend, and we'll be talking
Thanks
again
for
soon.
having me on, Brian, as always.
All right, buddy. You take care. We'll talk again soon. And I want to thank every one of you guys and girls for checking out our program today, The Unhappy Hour, here at thenewamericanmedia.com and the TNAM Radio Network. Heard worldwide. All you do is go to thenewamericanmedia.com, and on the right side it says TNAM Radio. You click play and you listen live. You just click play, you listen live. It's easy. Do it. Do it. Do it. Do it. Do it. Do it. Sorry, I'm getting wacky. I'm excited for the playoffs. Can you blame me? Fine. Yes, you can blame me. I don't care. But I do care about 16 wins for the Cavs. I'm so excited. I've waited my whole life to celebrate a championship from the Indians, the Cavs, or the Browns. That's why the name of this show is called The Unhappy Hour, because I have not had the chance to celebrate it yet. But I anticipate that this year is going to be different. This year we will get a championship. Then again, I think that every year, but so be it. Well, what else can I tell you? I'm the eternal optimist. I'm a prepare for the worst, hope for the best kind of guy, but I'm the eternal optimist when it comes to sports. You know why? Because any given Sunday, because any team can get hot at the right time, get streaky, and we saw what happens when injuries happen. Who knows how this is going to shake out over the next few months. So thank you. I appreciate you. I love you. YouTube.com/New American Media. Subscribe. Twitter at American_Media_. Find us on Facebook. Peace out, y'all.
And this is John B. Wells reminding you that not only is Brian Engelman a cool guy, and not only is the NewAmericanMedia.com a very cool platform, but here's a cool idea for you, too. Are you alone? Not really. Do you like dogs? Do you like cats? You do. Of course you do. Everybody does. One or the other, maybe even both. You know, there are a lot of dogs and cats that are at shelters right now, and if somebody doesn't take them home, they're going to wind up euthanized. That's a nice way of saying they're going to be killed, because there's simply not enough room. I guarantee it, the best dogs and the best cats, the best pets come from shelters. There's something about dogs and cats, they know. They know where they are. You walk through one of them, and certainly at least one is going to look at you and go, I wish you'd take me home. I'm in hell. Please take me out of here. It'll be the best thing that you ever did for your soul. You'll feel good about it. And not only that, but you have a friend for life. Doesn't matter if you got money, you don't have money. Well, it doesn't make any difference to a dog or cat. All they need is the sound of your voice and maybe even the stroke of your hand, and they're fine. Maybe a little food every once in a while. The sweetest sound that those pets ever hear is your voice. Think it over and adopt a cat or a dog from a local shelter today. I'm telling you, you'll be glad you did.